exhausted. I decided to start a live stream. My hair is so poofy from washing it this morning. Look at this. I am exhausted. Like, I'm not even kidding. I love it. I know I'm live, seeing as I'm the one doing it. You guys, I'm so tired. I have 3 hours left, and we're home for the next 4 days. I'm just wiped. I'm so wiped. I didn't even get to bed until like 3:30 this morning. Got up at 7. Oh man, I'm exhausted. Sleep, baby doll. Rest. Sarah's here, by the way, today. What, honey? You're cold? Okay, 1 second. I'll go adjust it. There you go. Hold on some heat for you. All I have is my one sweater, but it's not like a open sweater, it's just like a sweater. I don't know if it work, but it might feel like a little bit better? No? That doesn't do much, but something. Oh my gosh, but yeah, Sarah's here. She's pretty much napping on and off, but we had a long night last night. What did you get today? I decided to live stream because I am fading out, and I was like, I need something to keep me busy because I'm all done with everything else right now. And my other employee that works here, she called off today, which is the only day we work together, so it's the day I'm supposed to be able to get all my order and stuff in. But she's not here today, so now I have to wait till tomorrow to do my order. So instead of resting tomorrow, I'll be on the phone going through everything so I can get my order put in. Annie, the 1982 version. Wow. Yeah, that's an old one. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. And then Sarah has an ultrasound on Wednesday, so it's her. This one will be the gender ultrasound. So this is the one where the doctor will be looking specifically for the baby's sex. So it's called a gender scan. That's what it's called. I know that that's not the right terminology, but they don't call it a sex scan. You got your new glasses? Nice. I am so sorry. I am, like I said, exhausted. Lack of sleep can really catch up with you. My bangs went sideways as they dried today after washing my hair this morning. Look at this. Yeah, so I'm just white. I'm wiped out. I still got 3 hours. But it feels like it's going to take forever. I already feel like it's just going to take, these last years are going to take forever. You had to work till 10:30 last night. Yeah, see, I get to work, like I work from 10 to 8, and then, but I drive 2 hours here. So I technically start my workday at 8 a.m. because I'm on my way here. And then I lock up the shop at 8 o'clock and I head home, and I don't get home till like 10:30. And then of course, once you're home, as everybody knows, you get home, you shower, you unwind, you get some things done. I try to always be in bed by no later than midnight so that I'm back up at 7 a.m. So, 7 hours of sleep time, though I probably get like 3 hours in that 7. So after that, like, that happens and repeatedly, I just am exhausted and wiped out. Oh, it's my tobacco guy. Hold on, I've got my tobacco guy here. Let me go see, hold on. You had to wake up at 6 yesterday? Yeah, hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta go grab some Virginia cab. You are now. I'm gonna try to get some of this in there. Go ahead and start picking out your ones that you want. I'm gonna fill this one up. Oh yeah, definitely the butter. Did you want my hair today or no?
No, it's supposed to be. I'm just gonna do 4 today because I was here. We'll see how that balances out.
Now we're running out of everything. Alright, so 2 of each, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
As always. That butter bomb smells so freaking good. Oh my gosh. It might actually be one of my favorites even over amaretto. Amaretto is the most every time I open that buttered rum though, man. Makes you want to buy some just to burn in a little bowl. Yeah. Just to freaking have the smell. I know it doesn't smell the same though once you burn it, but it's close, but not. Yeah, you can still smell that it's the butter, but it's not as good as it is when it's freshly packaged dry. Good too. filters today, though? Boy. Man, I am fading, guys. Like, I am not even kidding. Hey, Sammy. Sorry, I was helping my regular comes in every Sunday for his pipe tobacco. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. But I have to say that that buttered rum tobacco smells so good. Oh my god, it smells amazing. Oh, shoot. Shoot. I'm gonna go put that away. Hold on. Sorry. Sorry. I have to put that away. Don't want that sitting out. Oh man. It snowed there today? Nice. No, we're in the warm temps up here still. So, still very warm here. I'm sorry, guys, I keep yawning. I'm trying not to, but I am so tired. Oh. I'm gonna go grab water. I'm gonna go grab some water, guys. Hold on to your britches first. Oh gosh, hitting the whole thing off there. Be right back. I'm gonna go grab some water real quick. I need water. Wow, yeah. See, I like it when it gets cooler out, but I don't want it to be cold out. I just don't want it to be boiling hot, and I don't want it to be freezing cold. I don't want snow. I just want nice 80-degree fall weather. That's what I want. I am barely hanging in there. Ooh-wee. See, if Tatum was here, I could have left early today, gotten my order done, gotten all that stuff put in, and then I could have gone home. But I am taking Thursday off because she owes me a day, because I am here filling in her shift on top of my shift. So I got everything stocked. I filled all her cabinets. I went through and did all the stuff on here, went through and put all new stuff and organized stuff in here. I unpacked the entire order on my own, which was supposed to be a small order. I only needed a couple things, but they sent me a bunch of other extra stuff, which Sunday is supposed to be 2 of us for that reason, so that she can run the register, I can unpack stuff, she can stock up her shelves. Yeah, no, it's like 91 here right now. It's warm outside. It's not supposed to be in the low 90s right now. It is mid-November. Taylor's supposed to get his U-Haul tomorrow and get moved into get up here, because he's moving up to this area where I work, but so he's supposed to be doing all that tomorrow if everything goes according to plan. He's already got his truck reserved and everything else. He's just got to go, like, I got to take him down to go pick it up tomorrow and get him up to the house and get it loaded. He's finishing taking his last 2 pieces of his furniture apart, which isn't much. He doesn't have much to take, so he didn't really need a big truck, but they won't rent out the, like, pickup truck style, because he's dropping it off here. So he's bringing the truck from Bullhead to here, and because he's not taking it back to Bullhead, they don't do the pickups. With wind up to 40 miles per hour, nah, man, you guys can keep the 40-mile-an-hour winds. We get enough of those throughout our summer. 40-mile-an-hour winds when it's 120 plus degrees outside and hot sand blasting you. Yeah, nope. Anybody else can keep their damn wind. I hate when it gets windy here. I've had my doors blow open here at the shop when it was really windy, and it's literally blown the door open and popped the ceiling tiles out because it gets so heavy wind. With the wind, it's insane. It gets crazy. But yeah, I'm like this close and tempted to close up early today, because I'm so exhausted. I need to get home. Like, I need to lay down. Hi, Amy. How are you? So yes, as the title says, I'm exhausted. I look exhausted. I'm wiped, you guys. Like, I'm not in pain. Remember I was telling you guys on the other camera, you can't really see, like, all of my fine lines and wrinkles. Yeah, you can see my age. Nice. So, last night Sarah had a rough night, and that's what I'm going to explain. Sarah had a really rough night last night. One, because she is pregnant, and so hormones are raging, a lot is going on. She had a hard time finding the baby's heartbeat by herself yesterday, but when I got home, I was able to reassure her we found the heartbeat totally fine, very strong, just a banging away, like, beautifully. And so between that and then her, of course, realizing, like, this was the time last year that she found out she was pregnant with Penelope. And so it was a really rough night because the emotions all kind of were one thing. So I sat up with her last night, and she had, like, it's one of those things where it's a hard but beautiful meltdown. Like, she had a complete, like, breakdown. And beautiful, when I say that, I mean in that she has so much love. The beauty in Sarah and the love that she has so much for her babies is beyond measure, you guys. And the fact that she holds that so close and so dear, and the fact that she doesn't go a day without thinking about them at all. Penelope was her first one, yeah. And so this time, like, the 11th of November last year was when she got pregnant with Penelope. So this was a really hard week. 1 second, guys. Tilly, smoke shop. The what? No, I don't. No, I don't think so. I think we're all out. Yeah, we're out. Alrighty. Me too. You're eating ice cream Sunday? Nice. Yeah, so yeah, her first was a little girl named Penelope. We've posted about that on everything. Little Bean, we called her Little Bean. Then she got pregnant again and lost that one in May, and that would have been Oakley. Well, she named the baby Oakley, but that one we never got to do the blood work for, and with Penelope we did. And so we knew that Penelope was a girl after when the blood work came back. So we called her Little Bean for forever, and then we got the blood work back and had that. Sometimes you just need to let it all out. Yeah, she has a lot of those, by the way, and that's okay, and it's healthy, by the way. It's really healthy to feel those and let those emotions flow through you, and feel them and let them out and live in the moment with them. And it's healthy. It's a healthy way to go about things. And there's a lot of stuff happening all at the same time. You know, she's grieving the loss of two little humans, and not only that, but Penelope's birthday is right around the corner. Like, her first birthday is coming up in January. Yeah, and she had somebody right after, like, literally not even kidding, like the day after she delivered her, had someone that knew Sarah tell Sarah that you need to stop talking about it. It's not going to help anything. Whoa. Yeah. So she lives with, like, knowing that people that were supposed to be like friends and should have had her back were people that were like treated her the worst when she lost the baby. So it was really, yeah, it was really rough. But she had a really bad meltdown last night, and so I sat with her last night, and it was like, we didn't get to bed till like 3:30 in the morning. And then, of course, being up at 7 a.m. to be to work. So just because I got to bed at 3:30 doesn't mean I slept from 3:30 to 7. That just means that I got in my bed at 3:30 in the morning and probably got like an hour of sleep, because as you guys know and I've talked about before, I don't sleep solid. I sleep like in 20-minute little spans, and my body jump scares and startles and stuff like that through my sleeping. It's horrible. I wish I could fall asleep and just like sleep solid. Sometimes I do. Like, if my body gets to a point of like pure exhaustion, I will crash out. And it's almost impossible to wake me up when my body finally says nope. So yeah, today I am feeling it hardcore, not having gone to bed until 3 in the morning, like 3:30 in the morning. So I'm definitely exhausted. You don't want to finish cleaning your room. You can do it. You got this. So Taylor's finishing his packing. He was called me earlier, so we're going through everything. Had him put a bunch of this stuff in boxes to bring downstairs. It was way too early. Yeah, Amy, it was way too early. So, she had the first set of, like, she had 2 sets of blood work done, but it was too early for, like, genetic blood work. So, like, we couldn't do any kind of, like, chromosomal blood work at that time, which is what you do with, like, Romans. Has taken his desk apart. Oh, yeah, he's got everything done now. He called me because he was having trouble getting the rest of the futon apart. And so he called me and talked him through 2 of the pieces. But yeah, he got that done finally. And then he's just bringing down the last of like the kitchen supplies, because where he's going, he doesn't need to take those right now. And so I told him, don't take all that because you're not going to have room to put it anywhere. So just box it and leave it downstairs with us. We'll take it with us with all of our other stuff that we're going to be storing. And then that way when he gets his own place, then he'll have that. He moves tomorrow morning. So he goes and I take him to go pick up the U-Haul tomorrow morning, and then we'll get him packed up, which is not much, by the way. He doesn't have much to move. Like, literally the 10-foot truck that he got is way too big. However, it's the only, like, that's the smallest like U-Haul truck that's not a pickup. A pickup truck, one of the pickup trucks would have been perfect, because everything of his is taken apart. So he doesn't have any big gaping furniture. So all he needed was a truck, but they won't allow you to pick the truck up in Bullhead and turn it in Lake Havasu, which is a 2-hour drive away. So if he wanted the pickup, he could have gotten the pickup if he was going to pick it up there, bring it here, and then take it back. But that would mean he'd have to find a ride back to Lake Havasu. It makes no sense. So he's just picking it up, because I'm taking him to go pick up the truck, and then he's going to drive it here. But yeah, it would have probably been nice if he had come to work with me today. If he would have reserved the truck for today and tomorrow, then we could have picked up a pickup truck here in Havasu. Then he could have drove it home tonight, loaded it up, and drove it back here, and it would have probably cost him less. But he didn't want to spend all day here. Oh, that sucks, Sam. Well, hang in there. You got this. But yeah, so as soon as he's got his own place here, because he's going to be with a friend for a little while, and then he's going to find himself his own apartment here. And then what he's going to do after he gets his own place is I'll bring him up his stuff that'll be in storage. But yeah, so that's kind of what he's doing right now. He'll probably be with his friend for a little bit so he can get himself a vehicle first. And then once he's got his vehicle, then he can go ahead and get an apartment. Yeah, I know. He could have, but yeah, he had his reasons. But he still needed to finish packing. So he wanted to make sure he had all that stuff done first. Yeah, you'll get it done, Sam. You'll get it done. So yeah, he wanted to finish packing, and he didn't want to pay for the extra day, because then it just equaled out the same price as just getting the one that he's getting tomorrow morning. So he was just like, there's no point. Like, there's just no point. Let's just get the truck, and that way I'll be fine. I was like, yeah. So he's nervous about driving the U-Haul tomorrow, because it's not just like a regular vehicle. Like, a regular pickup truck is easy, in comparison. So driving a U-Haul, though, will be a different story for him. It'll be his first time driving something a bit bigger, that's kind of got big blind spots. So I told him, I said, when he gets everything into the U-Haul, to pack it all towards the front, and then we have some tie-down straps to tie the boxes against everything, so nothing slides to the back, because he doesn't have anything big. Like, he's got, I think, like 4 boxes, 2 big, huge duffel bags, like the big, huge army duffel bags. And then he has the completely collapsed futon, his big L-shaped desk that's all been taken apart. He disassembled everything. And then he'll have his computer stuff, which he also boxed and wrapped everything, and then his big TV. Oh yeah, he'll get the hang of it. He's got a 2-hour drive to get used to it. So, and then of course he's got the drive to get it here. I told him just to GPS everything so that he knows how to get through what streets to get to his friend's apartment, because he doesn't pay attention when he rides with me, so he doesn't really remember because his friend's apartment, where the apartment Taylor's going to be at, is literally 4 blocks up from the shop. So from this shop, so he can walk down here every day if he wanted to while I'm here. So he can do that if he wanted to. But yeah, so. So he's moving in with a friend. Yeah, it's one of his high school friends. So they're gonna roommate for a while, so that way they can both save some money, which is, I think, a great idea, because right now his friend is the one they're like taking care of all of everything on their own. So with Taylor moving in and them both working, it'll make it a lot easier for both of them to put money aside. So it'll be beneficial for both of them. It's like he's helping Taylor with having a place to live, and then Taylor's helping him by them being able to save money. My hair is doing this weird curling thing. So yeah, so I'm so tired. But yeah. That is my Friday. I just have to get through 2.5 more hours. 2.5 more hours, you guys. and then a 2-hour drive home. That's the part I'm worried about, is I've got a 2-hour drive home and I'm exhausted. I know, right? So that's what he said earlier. Like, he was talking to me earlier and he goes, man, I feel stupid. I said, why? He said, because I should have been saving my money like you'd said, because then I'd have a truck of my own right now. I was like, you're right. No, coffee isn't going to do me any good, because coffee doesn't do to me like what it does with everybody else. For me, yeah, coffee is great for me to keep my blood pressure up, but because of that, where it ends up spending its time is there, it doesn't keep me awake. And I don't want to drink coffee to make the drive home, because then by the time I get home, it'll finally kick into like the hype, like make me jittery, and then I really won't be able to sleep. So my biggest thing is I need to like get some fresh air, walk around. Can he not give you money monthly or weekly so he can keep it? Yeah, no, he won't do it. He's always, I want him to learn, I don't want him to rely on me all the time. I want him to put it in his savings account. He has a savings account. Yeah, and see, but that doesn't make, like, that wouldn't make him responsible. It would make me responsible for holding him accountable. And he needs, because I'm not always going to be there, so he needs to learn to be held accountable for his spending. And so he needs to put it in his saving. Yeah, I know, right? Blasted. I'll be listening to a book. I'm one of those weirdos that, like, most people be like, oh, if I listen to a book, I'll fall asleep. I can't fall asleep listening to a book because I have to hear the next part of the story. And because I just started a new crime series, a detective series, there's no way I'm sleeping. I have to hear what's happening. So I'll be listening to a book on the way home, because that'll keep my attention. And I'll be listening and watching for coyotes, because the coyotes are everywhere right now. Actually, matter of fact, sad life. We ran over a deceased baby one this morning on the way here. So a pup had already been, so I'm gonna guess it was hit sometime in the night last night, but it was right smack in the road. Like, there was no way to avoid it because of where it was in the road. So we ran it over this morning, and I was like, you can't just stop to, like, one, you don't ever want to touch it to try to get it out of the road unless you've got like the proper gear to get it, because they are wild and they can have all kinds of infection, and I have my baby girl with me and don't need to expose her or myself to anything that could be infectious. So there's no way to stop, though, also because like the traffic flying through there is going 70 miles an hour, and it's a main like stretch between the big interstate and the city highway, Highway 95. So you can't just stop there. Like, there's massive traffic, so you can't stop and pull that. It has to be like a city worker person come out, put cones up, divert traffic into the, divide the traffic into the oncoming lane, to slow things down. But yeah, so we couldn't pull it out of the road if we wanted to, and there's no like shoulder to ride up on, so otherwise you could risk going off into one of the ditches. So you don't get any options other than to just run it over. Like when the person dropped the thing off their truck 2 weeks ago, and I smacked right into it because there was no other place to go but smack into it. It shattered everywhere, caused a dent just on the very front of the one side of my car. I was super ticked. And had I not hit it after it dropped off their vehicle, they might have been able to salvage it. But because I happened to be behind them and it fell and tumbled and I hit it, and there was no option for me because there was oncoming traffic coming this way, I was heading this way, and yeah, so not only did I get nailed by it, but so did the people that were coming this direction, got hit by the pieces that I hit. So, by the way, people, if you're traveling with stuff in the back of your vehicle, strap it down. Don't just assume that it's heavy enough material that it'll stay put while you're driving at 70 miles an hour. So, just a thought. But yeah. So, I hate that drive. Like, I hate that drive, that stretch of the drive between here and getting to the I-40. There's like this stretch of mountain pass that you have to go through to get to the I-40. And that stretch of mountain pass, people are just plain, and I hate using this word, but they are plain stupid going through there. Half the time they're traveling too fast and not paying attention, and they're also cutting over the line, like changing lanes over the line that is a double yellow line all the way up. And they will change lanes even when they're not supposed to be. You'll be coming up around the one bend and people will be in your oncoming lane. When, one, that is the dumbest thing you can do, is try to change, like go around somebody on a corner. You're not, technically, legally, you're not supposed to do that. Yeah, I know, right? It isn't the worst word I could have used. But yeah, just plain stupid. Like, what is that thing? You can't fix stupid? And that is so true. Yeah, so I'm exhausted, you guys. And gotta get up early tomorrow to take Taylor to pick up the U-Haul. Then I'm coming back at home and going to sleep. I'm gonna just come home and go to sleep. And try to rest for the day. And then Tuesday, I don't know what I have planned for Tuesday. Not really, I don't think I really have anything planned for Tuesday. Maybe we'll go ahead and start getting the kitchen and stuff packed up. If I get the kitchen and stuff finished packing that up and only keep out like the essentials, we'll have that finished and done and out of the way. And then the next, on Wednesday, we will do Sarah's appointment. And then Thursday, I actually have Thursday off now. I normally don't have Thursday off, but Thursday I'll have off. And I think Thursday, I'll just, like, Sarah and I are literally just going to binge watch a bunch of junk. Probably going to binge watch Lock and Key. I think we talked about that just recently. We were going to watch Lock and Key. Spend the day just binging out the new season. Because we liked season 1, which was really good. And now we're thinking about binging out on season 2. We did watch, I finally did finish Midnight Mass. And it's really stupid. One of the characters in that show, here's the funniest part. There's only one character in that entire show who never consumed, what do they call that again? Oh my God, this is how tired I am. When you go to church on Sunday, offering. They didn't receive the offering. So like consuming the body of Christ, the blood of Christ. So never did that part. Like there's only one person in the whole show. Even his son went and was curious about Midnight Mass, and his first thing he said was to him, the only thing I ask that you not do when you go to this is do not consume the offering. But other than that, I don't mind you going and being curious and learning stuff. But his son did consume the offering because kids will be kids. And so there's only one person on the entire thing that did not consume that. And so when everything goes down, which is really stupid, Sarah was not kidding, the ending is just so dumb. They also never really answer, like, they leave you open-ended, put it that way. So, because two people, I'm not going to say who, but two people make it off the island, but they don't get away from the island, put it that way, because the island has got 30 miles in either direction before you hit any land. So, and they're on a canoe. Like, you're not canoeing 30 miles across open water. It's just not going to happen. So they're stuck in this canoe while the entire island burns. And these two people have consumed whatnot. But from something they did in it, leads you to believe that they're cured of it. Hold on. Hi there. How are you today? All right. What did you get today? Is that it for you today, huh? All right. 10, 6. Oh gosh, my back. Yeah, she's sleeping. Yeah, she's right here. Like, she's right here with me in the shop today. She's sleeping. Like I said, neither of us got into bed until like 3:30 this morning, but then she still didn't sleep. Her schedule was all screwed up, and she was trying to like fix her schedule, but it clearly, as of now, she'll be awake again most of tonight, almost without a doubt. But she's got a lot on her mind, you guys, and that's expected. There's a lot going on. And Wednesday, we're hoping anyway, we'll have some answers Wednesday with the ultrasound, because there's something we have a big question about. I'm not going to disclose that here right now, and Sarah will decide if she's going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it, but there's some questions that we have, and we should cross our fingers. Well, we should have an answer on Wednesday about it, but we won't know. But we do know that we do have the gender scan on Wednesday, but there's also some other questions Sarah has pertaining to the pregnancy, and we hope we'll have answers on those on Wednesday. And then when she's ready to discuss that, she can. But you know, it's never anything like easy. You know, nothing can just be like the norm in our life. There's always something happening. Either something happening, something falling apart, or something throwing us a curveball that leaves us floundering like idiots to figure things out. So, crazy. Oh, by the way, guys, because I had never realized, I had never actually finished reading the full Life and Death. I finally finished it. Like, I got through the whole thing. And the epilogue, it's like 20 pages long, pretty much is like where they took, because I had said it in the last stream, where they have to end Life and Death, because it's Life and Death, where Twilight, the first book, like, they have to wrap it up in that, right? Like, they can't carry out like New Moon and Eclipse and Breaking Dawn, because here's the big factor. Bella's human, so therefore Bella's body can still change, so therefore Bella can have a baby. But Beau, the male version of Bella, he can't do any of that, and Edith, being a female vampire, she can't either. So there's nothing past Twilight and the ballet studio that can go from that point, right? So there's Edward saves her in the ballet studio, saves Bella, and therefore she stays human, and then you get New Moon, Eclipse, and yada. But there would be no point in saving Beau after he's been bitten. So, like, what would we be saving him for? So, they let things happen. And they kind of take the gist of New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn and kind of shove it all into 20 pages. They give you an explanation of the Volturi and how the Volturi works, and they change the entire concept of the Volturi and the fact that the Volturi aren't bad. You find out that Aro is not the leader of the Volturi. His name is mentioned in there, but it was his sister who ends up becoming the leader of the Volturi, who ends up also killing Aro because of his want and desire for pure power. Marcus's wife, who has a gift for stealing people's, not Marcus's wife, the other one, what's his name, Caius's wife, is capable of like touching and stealing people's gifts. And once they do that, because Aro killed Marcus's wife, and Marcus wants Aro dead. So Caius's wife steals Marcus's ability, and she can't use the ability. The only thing she can do is take it and then gift it to another vampire. So she takes it. Marcus kills Aro. He's gifted the ability that Aro had him. So then it's Marcus, Aro's sister, and Caius's wife, because Caius is already gone. He was killed, and she was left behind. And Caius's wife are the Volturi, and they are good. They only believe in punishing those who are breaking actual rules, not looking for power and whatnot. So, I'll be right back. Hi there. Good. What are we getting today, sweetheart? Absolutely. Have a great day. Oh, ew. I stood up way too fast. That hurt. So yeah, so they explain that portion. But like I said, in life and death, all the roles are reversed, right? So you've got like Billy is Bonnie, Jacob is Julie, but they didn't need to. There was no need to change those characters, you guys, because those characters do not have progression going forward. There's not going to be Bo and Jules storyline because he's not going to stay human. So honestly, they could have left it Billy and Jacob because they left Charlie, and Charlie and Billy are best friends. Charlie and Bonnie are not best friends. So they'd like change that entire thing. They kind of wiped that out. So the Quileute wolves are a female pack. They're not males. They're not like the protectors of the Quileutes is a three. That's three, guys. Three wolves, which is Samantha, Paulette, and the one that they named for Jared. Whatever. I don't even freaking remember what they gave the name for the third wolf. But you end up with Samantha. They still call Sam. And then they kind of mention, because when Bo asks Bonnie, God, the names are so stupid. Bo asks Bonnie if ever Jules is allowed to know their story and like to find out that the stories are true of their families and stuff. Tell her that I still care for her, yada yada yada, whatnot. And Bonnie's response was, Jules will know everything soon enough. And that's because the Cullens will be in the area. And, cool, Sam. And therefore, as long as the Cullens are there, the Quileute wolves will continue to become more in number. Which we already know, as long as the Cullens are in the area, then you're going to end up with pretty much the 5-pack, right? So you're going to have, like in the Twilight series, you have Sam, then you have Paul, Jared, Embry, and Jacob. Down the road, you end up with, when the other vampires come back, hi, Teresa, then you end up with Quill, Seth, and Leah. So Quill, Seth, and Leah don't even join the pack until the extra vampires come into the area. So the 5-pack will always have happened because of the number of Cullens there are. So that's a thing. So yeah, there's a correlation between the numbers. But anyway, so you end up with just the 3 in the beginning. And there's the whole discussion of the treaty withstanding, because they first think, like, the Quileutes show up, the wolves show up at the Cullen house to confront them about Bo being turned and blaming them for his transformation, when in fact it wasn't. It was Joss who bit Bo, who ended up changing Bo. So Bo's transformation wasn't because of a Cullen. So unlike Bella's transformation, yes, she got bit by James, but they were able to suck that venom out and keep her human, yada yada yada. But with Bo was bit by Joss. Didn't sleep last night. No, I didn't sleep last night. Sarah had some stuff going on last night, and I stayed up with her until 3 in the morning, and then got to bed at 3:30. But as everybody knows, I don't sleep well, and got up at 7. So in that like 3.5 hour window, I probably got like an hour and a half of sleep, maybe somewhere in there. And then pulling a 10-hour shift. So I'm exhausted, because then I have to drive 2 hours to work 10 hours drive, 2 hours home. So it's okay though. I mean, I'm here for my baby, and she's here with me today. She came with me to work. She's actually sound asleep right now, or at least laying there. Oh, I will be. Like I was saying earlier, that's what got me talking about the book. I will be listening to a book on the ride home. Because books, I can't sleep and listen to a book. Like, I hear some people will put on like a guided meditation or a reading meditation book or whatever to go to sleep with. I wouldn't be able to because I'd be listening for everything. Oh, probably. But you guys will see me anyway because I'm going to be, we'll probably like do some stuff on, be up most of the night. Yeah. Sarah has an appointment on Wednesday. Taylor has his move tomorrow. And if everything goes without a hitch, he'll be moved out by tomorrow. And we'll have a bunch of stuff like changed over and get some last bit of things finished up. I'm going to have Taylor help me with 2 items tonight before he gets his stuff done tomorrow. Because there's 2 items downstairs that need to be moved out of the downstairs into the upstairs. So that once that's done, we'll be good to go. I got to take down the gate so Taylor can get his stuff downstairs tomorrow. So I got to take the gate down off the big staircase. And then we're going to reimagine our staircase so that the dogs can't get up there. I have an idea that's going to hopefully work. Yeah, busy. So we got a lot going on right now. Like we got appointments this week with Sarah and with Taylor getting moved out. And then we're trying to find ourselves a place to move to. We've got the last bit of packing. Like Sarah and I really don't have much to pack of our own because most of the stuff in the house is Grandma and Grandpa's, other than our beds, our dressers, and our kitchen stuff. Everything else of ours is still in totes and everything because I haven't finished unpacking all that. So there was no point because we knew we weren't going to be living there for a very extended time. We were looking to buy, and we're still going to be buying. But because that's not going to happen until like February, but Grandpa wants to put the house on the market. So we want to get that all cleaned out and get us out of there so that it can be finished and staged for sale. So that's happening. But yeah, I'm white. So tonight is get home, get the 2 items moved up into the upstairs guest house so that they're out of the way of the lower house and the main house, and then go to bed. Just freaking go to bed. So yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you guys have cats, you guys know what I'm talking about. But Riggy, my beautiful crazy baby, he's a chewer, you guys. We can't even buy him toys that have anything dangling. He'll chew them completely off of there. We had put one of our Scentsy pots out, right, so that we could have it smell like fall and feel like fall. And Rigby decided he needed to chew that wire. He chewed it, zapped the crap out of himself. In turn, in doing so, because he zapped himself, he electrocuted himself, yanked the whole the Scentsy pot down in the process, shattered it. There's nothing left of the Scentsy pot. So the bulb, the wax, the pot, the only thing that's left of it is like the disc that you, like the tray that you put the little cubes in. So it went everywhere. And I was able to clean it up. I made sure he's okay. And he is okay, by the way. Just an FYI. He didn't like get zapped to the point of like serious injury, but he did get electrocuted. He was not too happy about getting electrocuted. However, did not learn his lesson. So I have got these things now that you stick on your wall to, oh gosh, what? Let me see. Hold on, Shar. Hold on. Ah! Where's it at? She just messaged me. No, where'd it go? Okay, fine. Shar. Oh my god, I cannot type.
What do you mean not deliver?
Deliver. 1 second, guys. This did not want to work. I don't know. But okay. It should have worked, but it did not work, and it is connected to my phone. And now, I think if I had linked it, it would have worked, but I didn't link it, so whatever.
Hi there. Hey, how are you? Fine, baby. How are you? Good. What are you doing? I know you want to go to the party. Yeah, so then for the first and Sunday too. So do it. 42.99. Unless you want it then. Oh, they need to come in and do that. They were supposed to be open.
Yeah.
Bye, Dave.
Bye, hun.
Bye.
You bet. Yeah, so he's fine, like I said. He didn't learn his lesson. So I went and I bought these things that, like you put them on like your wall. They have like a sticky back thing. They're kind of like the command strip type things. You can peel that off. But then you can put the wires through that and it clamps your wires behind it. So with the TV stand, we've got the TV stand that has the thing built in now so that you can lace the cord through it, and then it comes right out at the outlet. So we have that done. We had to cover anything that has anywhere for any wire to go. No appliances can be left out. Like I can't leave the toaster on the counter. So now we keep that totally put up. The Instant Pot, which we had setting on the counter because it's huge. I have the Instant Pot that has the Instant Pot and air fryer attachment. And there's like, I hate having to try to, because the only cabinet that it fits in is above my head. And so I had to keep picking it up, putting it down, picking it up. So now I still have to keep it put up because he gets up on the counters. I mean, he's a cat, come on. And with him chewing any wires he finds right now, we can't have anything out that is of exposed. So I had to go and buy these kind of, like this style wiring for our phones because it's like this braided nylon stuff that he can't chew through. Because he's already chewed up so many phone cords. Oh my god, those are the cutest things ever. Tatum bought Shar some really cute shoes, but they're not her size, and when they tried to get a return on them, they won't let her return them, but they'll send her the correct size because they got the wrong size. So she's like, you can have them. They're so cute. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna have some really comfy shoes. Yeah. Anywho, guys, I'm really tempted. You guys have no idea. I am so tempted right now to just lock the shop and go home. I've had a pretty good steady pulse of people today, though. Like, I'm surprised at how many sales I've made today. Before I even live streamed, I've had a lot of traffic in here today. And I'm not meaning traffic as in cars, I mean traffic as in foot traffic, people being in here. So, I'm surprised at how much I got done. Yeah. And here's another thing too, you guys. So, last week, I think I told you guys about this last week. I didn't even show you guys. Here's what I did last week. Last Sunday, my pops wanted some stuff done, right? So let me just show you guys. Oh, no. So, see all of this? These are all the big stickers we carry. These are big vinyl stickers. Each page right there has 5 across, 4 down. So 20 stickers per page. There's 14 pages there. And in doing that, I had to sort all of them. And then because we don't have tables here, right? So I had to use the floor to be able to make, because some of these stickers are big. They're not like, all these are not like little small stickers. So because of their size, I had to put them down on the ground. And then I had to go through all of them, yeah, and stack them, and then I had to write a sticky note for each one, how many is in each stack, so we know how many we have of each sticker left, so that he can order replacements for the ones we're running out of. Hot mess. So I'm in here going through them all, and I'm having to stand up because I have to take pictures of all of them, so I need to be up high because they're good sized stickers. So I'm having to be up high to be able to get all of them in one shot. So I did that last Sunday. It took me 4 hours of separating all of them, because they're all just in this big jumbled mess type thing, so people can sort through them and decide which ones they want. So I had to divide them all, like I had to separate them all, right? And then lay them all down, stand up, take the pictures, scoop up the ones, put them back in the boxes, do the next set. So I did this for 4 hours. My back was done. It was shot. I mean, my legs were shaking from the bend, stand, bend, stand, bend, stand, bend, stand. Hi there. How are you?
That's my bad habit.
But anyway, I decided, I stayed here. Like, she was just like, why don't you go home? And I was like, absolutely not. Like, you know, one, I love my job. Two, when you have a good job like I have, you tough it out. You make it work. So, this is now 3 Sundays that she's called off and not been able to come to work because she's not feeling good. And I told her she needs to go to the ER. One, because she has a feeling that the problem she's having is something to do with her IUD. Do not wait for your obstetrician or gynecologist, I should say, to schedule you an appointment if you suspected something wrong with your IUD, especially if you're having symptoms that could indicate infection. Waiting 2 whole weeks could be way too late to be getting looked at. I told her, you need to go to the ER, get that looked at, so that way we don't keep having this as a habit. Because I'm one of those people that believes in, if you truly enjoy the work you're doing, you'll do anything to make sure that you're there. Even when I'm feeling my worst, and like even today, I feel so exhausted. I just want to lay my head down and go to sleep. When I have a customer walk in here, I smile, I put on a bright face, I pop my eyes open. Maybe look a little crazy if nothing else, but I want to make sure that they know that I'm here for them. All right, you find a couple of good ones?
Yeah, I actually like cheaper cigars better than the expensive.
You're not the first person to say that.
Okay, Nicola went a Cuban reject. I went line by line. I usually go one line. My wife really is smarter than me. And that yes here is one of the possible answers.
I know, right?
Okay.
Okay, dear.
It's been going pretty good since I figured that out.
Right, there you go. Oh man, that was cute. That's cute. When you learn that yes, dear, is actually an answer that works, you'll be a much happier person. Oh my god. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna put a book on the way home to keep my mind alert, because when I have a book going, I'm very alert because I want to know what is happening, what's going on. I can't not pay attention. So I'm gonna do that. But yeah, so I finally did finish listening to the rest of Life and Death and the way that they squashed everything together. And I decided at the end of the day, at the end of the day, with the whole story, if it was a standalone story, right? Here's my only thing I would pick apart about it. So, one, only a few characters were a necessity to change. And roll the windows down a little. Yeah, great idea if you want to be pelted with bugs along the I-40. I learned my lesson not to do that out here because the I-40 and stuff where I drive is along the river, the Colorado River. And this is the time of year where every bug in the entire earth is coming out because of the seasonal change. You should see my car window right now, just from driving to work this morning, because I wash it every night when I get home. And it is just smeared. Yeah, so, yeah. Nope, I'd rather be able to keep my eyesight. Yeah, can't do that. And we're driving at like miles an hour, 75 miles an hour on the freeway, or on the highway, or interstate, or whatever you want to call it, the I-40. Can you tell I'm tired? And so, yeah, window down going 70 miles an hour is like sticking your head out of an airplane. Like, seriously, like, nah. No thank you. If I was driving like in city, that's different, but when you hit the interstate, which is 90% of my drive, not doing that. Yeah. But anywho, so my biggest thing with this story is it can definitely work. It can work as a male human and vampire love interest. It can work. However, several of the characters that they changed to add, like, were not necessary to change. So, like, the rest of the Cullens, right? You did not have to change any of them for the story to work. One of the storylines that they change, which totally doesn't work, is the whole Rosalie and Emmett, right? Rosalie's storyline and why she so despises Bella is because Bella has options of a human life that she was robbed of. The one thing she always wanted, which was to be married and to have children and to start a family. Those were all things that were robbed of her, and Bella has that option, and she's willing to just let it all go and not even think of what that would mean, right? And that's why Rosalie has such a hard time accepting Bella. Then Bella finally makes a decision in Breaking Dawn, a decision that Rosalie would have totally made, which was, I don't care what any of you say, I'm gonna carry this baby, and you're not touching me. You're not touching me, you're not taking this out, you're not ending this pregnancy for me, this is my choice. And I'm choosing to sacrifice myself so that this child has a chance. And it's a choice Rosalie would have made. But they changed the gender role of Rosalie and Emmett, made them Royal and Eleanor. And Royal's storyline was that the woman he was going to marry, her lover killed him. So then why would he hate Beau the way he hates Beau? Because they talk about how Royal totally hates Beau and is extremely antagonistic and rude and horribly mean like Rose is to Bella. This is how Royal treats Beau. But he has no reason to, because, like, what are you mad at him for? He didn't do anything to you. And he's not changing anything, and he's not choosing anything just yet. And, I mean, it's a whole, like, come on.
Hi there. Good, how are you?
It's a few weeks. So like I was saying, with that storyline, it doesn't work. It just, that part does not work. Because Beau's not giving anything up. You know what I mean? Like, Royal lost everything, like the love of his family, everything, because of course whatnot. But that still doesn't explain that. Been a very active Sunday. Okay, so that storyline, right? That's one of the main ones that really irks me. And then the storyline of Carla Esme. Now, as we know, if you've read the books of Twilight, you know that Esme threw herself from a cliff after the death of her baby. And so we know that that's how Carlisle found her, was in the morgue with her heart still beating. But she had known Carlisle as a doctor from when she was just a girl. And she remembered thinking he was an angel that saved her then. She loved him from then on. But they changed it to Ernest and Corinne. Corinne being Carlisle, being the doctor, and then Ernest being this homebody homemaker, which stereotypically men don't usually do, but it can be done, and I've seen many men that are amazing homemakers. But the way they portrayed Ernest is very weird in the story. And Ernest's story is that his wife was kind of off the rocker and jumped from a cliff while holding her 2-year-old, with their 2-year-old. And in his haste and not thinking of what to do, jumped after them, thinking that he could save their daughter. So he jumped to save his daughter, which in the other story, Esme's was a little boy. This was him jumping off the cliff thinking he could save his daughter. So he didn't jump out of sadness. He jumped out of thinking he was going to rescue the baby and, died in the process, so to speak. So, okay, there's that story. But to me, the Alice and Jasper thing just didn't, I could not get attached to the character that's supposed to be Alice. I guess they had him named Andy. I think they named him Andy. I might be totally wrong about that. Was it? I don't remember. The names they came up, the names she gave them are just a headache. They really are. I could not find any attachment. Like with Carlisle and all them, you could find an attachment to them, right? You could relate. There was just something about them that you could relate to. Like Alice, oh my God, you just, something about Alice, you fall in love with Alice. And the fact that she's this tiny little thing that you just think, how is she gonna defend herself? And the fact that Jasper's gift is so potently strong, and he uses that to protect Alice on many occasions because he's so in love with her, and so like he knows she's capable because she can hear people, and I mean, like, not hear them, but she sees the future, so she knows what they're doing before they act. So it doesn't make sense that Jessamine would protect Andy, because Andy's like a fully capable, large set male. Like, what? It just didn't work right, put it that way. And then several other characters that I understand several ones that they'd have to change, which weren't very significant in the first books anyway, like Mike, Jess, and Angela, Ben, and Tyler, and Eric. So they did gender swap them, which should have been done because they are there's immediate interaction with Bo, right? So Bella / Bo. So that made sense to change those over. But because their storylines, we don't need to worry about their storylines later on because they don't play any important role later in the books. So in this, they wouldn't have played an important role later in the book anyway. So their swap was fine. It worked right. But the ones that counted to be changed were changed. But the ones that didn't need to be changed should not have been changed. And then this story could have come across even better. Because there's the only thing I didn't like about it, the only thing I absolutely think was like one of those things where I just could not find a foothold in and like get a real like attachment to the story. Like there was no emotional attachment whatsoever to any of the characters in the story, is the way that Bo comes across and the way Edith comes across. Like with Bella and Edward, you get this sense of Bella just feels so out of touch with everything else. Like she just feels like she just doesn't fit. Like nothing about her fits with anybody her own age and her own group of people that she should be a group of people with. Just doesn't fit. But for some reason, every time she's around Edward, it's almost like the world becomes right. Something about that attachment with him becomes correct, right? There's just something there, and she can't explain it. She even says it multiple times. She doesn't know what it is, but it's there. And it's like, when he's not there, she doesn't even realize just how overwhelmingly anxious she is, and she never knew what it meant to feel like she belonged until she found him, until they found each other. And then when he wasn't there, she felt this space, this emptiness that like she'd never understood before. And now it made sense that something about his presence made the world right. Edward feels that same way, like there's just something that was meant for him with her. And he wants to keep her human, though it's not necessary. She's going to be his, and they're going to end up, and this is the world she was meant for. But with Bo and Edith doesn't have this self-loathing behavior that Edward had, which I think was kind of better in a way, because Edward's self-loathing kind of gets under your skin after a while. However, it's what also makes him so powerfully him. And Bo is just, I guess you could say, like, he's one of those kind of guys where you would just be like, oh my gosh, dude, maybe take some time to grow up first, and then we'll have conversation. Because he is so self-absorbed. It's got to be the right word. And somebody else said it made it come across as extremely wussy, very whiny, very like, oh, woe is me. Where Bella is not an oh, woe is me. Bella is I don't fit in. I don't know why I don't fit in. I know I feel out of place, but I don't fit in. Where Bo was like resentful of the fact that he was the grown-up in his relationship with his mother. He's resentful that Charlie always made him feel like it was his responsibility to care for his mom when Charlie never did that. The way they make his relationship with Charlie, it's like she feels like she's rescuing her dad, and she adores her dad and she wants to protect her dad, whereas Bo is just like, he feels like he's obligated to do it, where Bella does it because it's a selfless act. Bo feels like, I have to, I can't leave things like this for him because then I'm responsible. Where Bella was not like that. She was not like, I'm responsible for this. It was, I love him too much to let them suffer. You have to let me protect them. And it was a very selfless thing. To her, her life didn't matter as long as their lives were okay. And it wasn't like that with Bo. At least it didn't come across that way. And he definitely came across as someone who absolutely resented both his parents for making him feel like he had to be the adult. And so that was a huge difference. He does sacrifice himself in the end, thinking his mother has been taken by James or Joss. And so he does do the whole escape, and go and meet this idiot in a frigging ballet studio. Because, of course, it wasn't the ballet studio that Bo took classes in. It was a ballet studio that his mother taught ballet in. Yeah, Renee taught ballet. Sure. And Renee is still Renee in this story as she was in the verse. Sure. So, it was, there is points, I'll give her points for the storyline can work with the switch of like Bella and Edward being switched genders. What doesn't work is changing every single one of those characters in a gender role, which were not necessary to change. Everything still could have worked, leaving all the Cullens as the Cullens were. Changing Edward to a female, please change the name, for crying out loud. It just is, I don't know. The name just didn't work. Like, you just couldn't find an attachment to this beautiful, descriptively designed, like, she's described as just absolutely stunning. She's small. She's in stature like Alice was described in the first book in Twilight. So she's very tiny in stature. She's just petite in frame, long, gorgeous, metallic, golden, or metallic, reddish brown, copper hair. But her name's Edith, which is definitely a grandmotherly name. However, Edward's name was Edward, right? It was just a regular name, like Emmett, just a regular guy name. Rosalie's name is probably the most ancient of their names, and Carlisle's name, because those were names that were the turn of the 17th century type names. And Esme was a name back in the day, but it was not. It doesn't make you sound old either. But the name Edith, that's such an aged name in a newer era. And sorry, but the name Bo should have just been Bo. But when you find out his name is Beaufort, I wanted to choke Stephanie Meyer for the first time in all the books that I've read of hers. That is the only time I've ever was like, what? Why? That is a horrible name choice. Beaufort? Bo is fine. The name Bo is fine. Use the name Bo. Just leave it Bo. Beaufort? Really? Anybody else? So yeah, I was a bit irritated by the name choices. You couldn't get behind the story because every time one of the name choices was spoken, you were just agitated. So yes, the story could have been really good because of the way, from the ballet studio scene on is a completely different rewrite, right? It's all new story because Bella survives the ballet studio. Bo does not. He doesn't die per se, but he is they let the venom spread and he transforms. So if you want to read this book, yes, the last few chapters are decent in a sense. If they had just let some characters stay some characters, right? Like if they had left Billy as Billy, Jacob as Jacob. If they had left Sam and the pack as Sam and the pack instead of changing them to female Quileutes, it just didn't make sense. Especially when you think about, and this nothing against anybody, when you think about Indian tribes, Native American tribes, the men were your warriors, your protectors. It's not about gender roles, right? But that is how it was. The women were your ones that took care of your crops and your gardening and your cooking and your family and your childbearing and child rearing, whereas your men were your warriors, your protectors, your hunters. They did those things, like, right? That's how it was. So to change that role play, all for the sake of showing you that the opposite gender can fulfill these roles, it was like, that's a reach, and it's a ridiculous reach that did not need to be done. And so it was a bit agitating to know that it was a gift of their fathers that allowed this shape-shifting ability to protect their tribe. All of a sudden now it was a gift of their mothers, that it was the mothers who protected the tribe, who were the warriors who went out and did the hunting. Yes, it can be done, without a doubt. But it is unrealistic of the research done in the beginning, in the first place, for the story of Twilight, and the research that was done into the Quileute legends and the Quileute tribes. So it was very annoying that they would change that aspect when it wasn't even necessary, because there's not going to be a relationship built between Jules and Bo. So seeing as that was already a known thing going into that story, there was no need to change the role of Jacob Black. Jacob and Bo could have become really good friends, because Bella's intentions with Jacob were to just be really good friends, like a brother that she never had. So it could have been the same way for Jacob and Bo. They could have just been the brother each other never had, because Jacob's got 2 sisters and Bo is an only child. So Jacob and Bo could have been, their dads are best buddies, and they could have been like this brotherly relationship that was initially started in Bella's mind with Jacob. So that could have been such a good feed-in for a story to push forward with that connection. But yeah, so there was no reason to change any of that up. But they did. So, which irked me so bad because of Sue Clearwater, right? When Larry Clearwater dies, which is Leah and Seth's dad, when he dies, Sue Clearwater marries Charlie, right? They become a thing. They changed Larry Clearwater to a woman, who then, of course, dies, which down the road would have died, which then would leave Larry's, which now was like Laura Clearwater, her husband left behind with the 2 kids. Charlie's not going to marry Lauren, and Charlie's not going to marry Billy or Bonnie, because that's never been a thing. So yeah, they kind of ruined that whole section. So there was parts of the story that could have so easily worked really, really well if they had just left well enough alone in the continuation, like in things that weren't going to be a direct link to Bo and Bo's storyline, I should say. Now, if Bo had survived the ballet studio, then it would make sense that him and Jules would have maybe tried to build that relationship, that brother-sister relationship that Bella actually felt, but now Bo felt for Jules, and then it find out that, no, there's actually more to that relationship, yada, yada, yada. That could have been a storyline. But we already know Bo doesn't make it out of the ballet studio as human. So, no need to change the Quileutes whatsoever. The Cullens are already matched to each other. No need to change any of the Cullens. to make this swap role reversal love story work, because it is about the love story of Twilight. That's why they're doing a swap reversal of roles for the love story, and it would have worked out okay with, you know, wussy pansy Bo in love with, I guess you'd say, righteously aware Edith, because she is very righteously aware, very, like, sure of herself aware, and very demeaning at points towards Bo, where Edward was never that way with Bella, but Edith is kind of that way with Bo. So but I guess in a way they kind of fed off each other's energy, so that kind of would have worked, but yeah. So in all honesty, to be quite honest, I wish she had not wrote it. It would be my opinion. There's so much that could have gone so much better in the retelling of Twilight with a role reversal, with a gender reversal type situation that could have worked. Like, there was so much potential in making that work, and like I said, as soon as you get to that ballet studio scene, you know that they're not leaving there with like the male protagonist as a human. You already know that. And from there, the story goes really, like, I like where the story goes. I don't like the roles that were reversed to go forward, because they weren't necessary. But in the whole picture of the last, like the epilogue and the last chapter of the book, the last chapter and the epilogue have huge potential, had huge potential. Disappointing. It's like one of those things where you waited all that time for Midnight Sun, which we finally did get, by the way. But everybody waited for Midnight Sun, and then the 10-year anniversary book comes out, and it's a reimagining of Twilight with the gender swapping. And there was so much potential to that, and it was missed. I think she missed by a long shot. Now, I'll put it this way. If you've never read Twilight, if you have never read Twilight, and you go and you read Life and Death, have never even touched Twilight, maybe not even seen the movies, because if you've seen the movies, you might also be ruined from there. But if you've never read Twilight or seen the movies, then go read Life and Death as a standalone book, and I think you would probably be okay with the story, other than the guy, Bo, just sounds like, you're just like, this poor guy is just, he's hopeless. He's one of those people that you're just like, he's completely hopeless. Forget it. You know, I'm not doing this. He's hopeless. He just seems like one of those people you're just like, I'm not wasting my time. Like, it's almost like arguing with someone who's just a brick wall. It's like standing in front of a wall and arguing with it. He's just completely hopeless in any given moment. That's how I felt about him. I just was so irritated with the character of Bo. I just, dude, get a grip, all right? Like, just get a grip. So yeah, that's how I felt about him. And Edith came across as very self-righteous, and that is so not, yeah. So if I had read that without ever having read Twilight, I might have been able to follow along and maybe make some attachments to the characters, but the name choices, the names, I can tell you right now, if you've never read Twilight, these name choices would still bother the crap out of you. They are so, like, you just feel like, what? And then names get made, what? Because then you're like, wait, who's who? Because there's Jess, there's Jessamine, Joss, and then you've got Jeremy instead of Jessica, but Jeremy. And you've got Alan, Andy, and there was one other weird name. And you got Lauren, who was Laurent. James became Joss. Victoria became Victor. I mean, just, you guys. One of those things. Ooh, I almost hit the wrong thing. It was a lot. It was a lot to take in. So I did finish it. I finally finalized, like, got it done. And sat down and just did that compare and stuff. And I said, in all honesty, in my honest opinion, it was a terrible book. Yeah, I read reviews where people absolutely loved it. Like, absolutely loved it. And then I read reviews where people were just like, are you kidding me? I'm going to go on the side of, are you kidding me? Stephanie Meyer, which she'll never see this, but Stephanie Meyer, I love you, okay? Not, without a doubt. I love the Twilight series. I love Host. I love The Chemist. I hope we get more books like The Chemist from her. Without a doubt, I'm telling you right now, if she can come out with another book that is like The Chemist, hell yeah. Because that is such a good book. If you've never read The Chemist, go read The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer. Because who loved it? Yeah, you gotta read that book. The Host, such a good book. And I am, like, that book took me a hot minute, by the way. Usually a book, if it doesn't grab me within, like, the first chapter or two, like, I've gotta be, like, pulled in before the end of chapter 1. And if I'm not, I usually don't complete a book. Like, I will put it down because I'm like, I can't, the story's just not, it's not got me. Which is what happened with Twilight and what happened with The Host. But Twilight, I got forced into reading that book because a friend bought it for me. Not only did a friend buy me the book, but then she turned around and pre-ordered New Moon before it came out and was like, you got a gift coming in it. And this was like 2 weeks before the book was to come in the mail. And I was just like, okay, I haven't even read the first book you gave me because I stopped at chapter 5. And that took me, like, I was pushing myself to read it into chapter 5. I'm not even gonna kid. But once I hit chapter 5, got through chapter 5, and we get to the Jacob and Bella telling, like, the story on the beach in LaPush, then I was like, okay, wait a minute now. I need to understand what's happening here. And from there, where Bella goes home to, like, look it up and, like, tells herself she feels so stupid. What is she researching vampires for? This is so stupid. I know he's not fully human. There's something beyond human about him. But it can't be something this stupid, like vampires? Like, what are you talking about? And I was just like, I'm with you, girl. I'm with you, girl. I'm a logical thinker like her. Like, I'm just like, no. There's no way that can be a possibility. And, like, come on, this is like, we're humans. Like, that's fairy tale. That's, like, made up stuff for the movies or whatever. And I was like, okay, now I need to know where is her mindset gonna go from here? And I was wrapped in from that point. So starting chapter 6 pulled me in and wrapped me up like no tomorrow. And so I got pretty much forced in that. Now with The Host, the beginning portions of that book, I did not get wrapped into that book until we end up in the desert outside of, like, Tucson. I think she's out on the I-10 somewhere outside of Tucson. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm kind of interested. But before that, all the way up to that point, it's very mundane. Like, it is. Because these things, these what they call souls, are non-confrontational, right? They don't have confrontation. They're non-confrontational. They're very quiet, mellow, like, kind of people. Like, not people, but entities, whatever you want to call it. And so they just go about day to day because life is good. Everything is good. Nothing is bad. And that is all you get in the first part of the book. And you know that something's going on with Wanderer / Melanie, because Melanie's the body. So it was Melanie's body. Wanderer is the soul that has taken the body. So Wander/Melanie. You know that something's happening there, like something's quite a little bit off, but you don't really get just how deeply off it is until you get to just outside of Tucson. And then you're like, okay. But it took me a while to get to that point because I just was like, oh my God, I'm gonna fall asleep reading this stuff. It's just so blah, blah, blah. But I have to say, it's kind of like watching one of those, you know, like when you watch a movie and the first 20 minutes of the movie is like just this slow burn. And then all of a sudden, it's like, you just get this amazing story right near the end. So I was like, okay, this is probably a slow burn effect. It's like stoking that fire. Hi, Katie. It's like someone stoking the fire. You put a little bit of tinder on there, and then it's like, hey, have a log. So, if you can go through that to get through those, if you decide to read those two things, like you decide to read the host and go and read the saga, those are the two parts you kind of have to get past. It's like the first few chapters into Twilight. If you're going to read Twilight, you gotta get, if you're going to read the series, because you gotta get through those first few chapters of the first book. Once you get past those first few chapters of the whole, I don't fit in, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this, I just have to get through this self-sentencing of purgatory in this time, I'm exhausted. But get through that little bit of like her own self-loathing, like she doesn't see herself in a very clear light. Haven't we all? We've all been there. You get there, right? You get through that portion, and it all starts to make sense. And then you really get like it's almost like someone's dangling the bait in front of a fish, and then all of a sudden you're hooked, and and you're literally being just dragged, you know, without any ability to say no. And then you're gonna want to get through each book after that. You're like, I gotta know, I gotta see this, I gotta continue. But with the host, same thing, and gosh, I wish she would write another book in that series, because I know it's supposed to have been a series. She said it was gonna be a series, and then she kind of just didn't write another book. But man, the Chemist, holy cow, the Chemist. Now, they did wrap the Chemist up really good, so you technically don't have to write another book, but I would love to see more of that style book from her, that type of stuff, because I think it would be amazing. Because, like I said, if you've never read The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer, do yourself a favor and do so. Or even just get the audio version of it and just listen to it, because the chick that reads the audio version is freaking fantastic. Definitely get that, because it's good. And that book wasn't slow starter burn. It was not a slow burn. You literally dive straight into what this woman is up to, like what she is about, where she's going in her story. Like you know right from the start. And so there's no slow burn lead in. Like there's no little lead in that's gonna take you on this little journey. It's like a bam, punch in the face right from the start. Here we go. Put your britches on. You better put a belt on too, because you're gonna need it. Kind of story, and it's good. It's really good. So yeah, definitely go read that. So like I said, Stephanie Meyer, absolutely love it. Love it. I kind of hope, no, I hope, but I don't. I guess I'm hoping with despair, because I know she's not gonna do it. But I want her to write New Moon and Eclipse from Edward's perspective. Because there is a lot of those two books that Edward is not with Bella. Just like in Twilight, when Edward's not with Bella, like during her sleep time, during the time she's sleeping, during, you know, the times he's not with her. Like, there are moments in both of those. There's the whole book of New Moon is him gone. I would love to hear those books from his perspective, to continue from her doing Midnight Sun, because whoa, that is such a good storytelling. To hear Edward, and to know what exactly is going on in his head, to hear his story, to hear the stories that he has to tell, the things that he's done, the things he's been through, what's made him like he is, and it's so good. So much. But yeah, I hope so. But please, for the love of all that is holy, don't write anything again like what she did with Life and Death. Let's leave well enough alone on the stories you've written, and don't try to gender role reverse anything, because it didn't need to be done. And trying to satisfy other people because they have a preference, don't. You wrote your story because that is how your story was told to you. It came to you the way it came to you. Like she's always said, chapter 13 was how Twilight was born. The book of Twilight, the whole story of the Twilight Saga was born straight out of chapter 13 of the book Twilight. And that is a young girl, a human girl, just a simple human girl sitting in this beautiful rounded meadow in the middle of the forest, like this beautiful rounded meadow, with this unearthly creature in that meadow, making a declaration of love to each other. And knowing that they were standing on a knife's edge. That is where Twilight was born. What happened to lead them to that point is what she wanted to know, and what was coming after that point. She wrote that chapter and then continued it to the end of the book, right? Then she went back after writing to the end of Twilight and went back to lead into what led them to that moment. She also openly admitted that Breaking Dawn was supposed to be the second book, and that there wasn't going to be all that we know. She was going to end it kind of how she ended Life and Death. But it was going to be stretched out into a second book. So you would have had the whole Quileute pack and the Cullens and a new treaty line set and a new treaty thing set up, and all this stuff was going to be done. And the fight with Victoria and everything was going to happen, because Bella, though, would have been a vampire at that point, because there wasn't going to be a baby born and all that kind of stuff. There was going to be no Esme. She was talking about in an interview. So Twilight and Breaking Dawn were supposed to be the two books together, right? And it was supposed to be where Bella did get changed by James, and the Cullens killed James. Victoria decided to hunt the Cullens, right? She wanted revenge for his death. And the Quileute pack gets involved. The Cullens and the Quileutes make a treaty. A new treaty thing is set, and whatever. There's never any animosity between them over Bella's transformation, because it wasn't them who did it. So yeah, I mean, there's like this combined effort between them, and then there's this battle with the Volturi over the fact that their clan is getting too big. It was not supposed to be about this whole baby thing. It was that they felt that the Cullens were growing too much in numbers. Their numbers are multiplying, and they don't like it, because they feel that anybody who has numbers in that great of size could challenge them, and Aro doesn't want a challenge. But a challenge he shall get. So that whole thing happens, and that's supposed to have happened. But like she said, something told her that no, there was more to that story. There was more to be told, and she sliced out that whole thing and kept a lot of the storyline, but then changed Bella's progression through it and reimagined where things were going to actually go. So yeah, great. Like I said, the way she did things was really, really good. So yes, Twilight could have ended the way Life and Death did, where Bella does end up becoming a vampire in the ballet studio. and Renesmee would have never been born, and Jacob and her would have never had this buildup of a love relationship or a love interest. So all that could have happened. Which is why I think Stephanie wrote the reimagined version, because she was like, well, this is how Twilight would have happened had she decided to just make it a 2-book series. And I think that that's kind of what she did. I wish she hadn't have done it, though. Because it just was like... And the word choicing, like Stephanie is so good at writing with word choicing, right? She has really good knack for picking out well-written stuff. And honestly, her word choicing for Beau came out making him sound very uneducated and very not advanced, and yet mentions that he was in an advanced placement program and that he was an honors student. So it didn't make sense, some of the word choicing that she used. Like he was not very well spoken. He did not sound well educated. He just, yeah, he's bad. So, not a book I think I will ever really genuinely read again. Twilight, though, still love it, still love the story. Thank goodness, for me, personally, it did not ruin Twilight for me. There was people who were like, oh my gosh, this story told this way was so much better than the whole Bella and her not fitting in story, which that's more relatable, to be quite honest. A girl being, girls and guys, every person I know in their teen years at some point felt like they just didn't fit somewhere correctly, like they just could not find the niche that they belonged in, or were really self-aware and insecure. So